Can we ask the Kentville Wildcats, 85, to come to the stage, please?
The 1985 Kentville Wildcats baseball team stole a lot of firsts. They were the first Nova Scotia team to host the Canadian Senior Baseball Championships and the first Nova Scotia senior baseball team to win a title. The championship game was one of the greatest comeback stories in Nova Scotia baseball history. They were down 6-0 with 2 outs in the 8th inning with nobody on. One by one, the runs began to rack up, and at 6-5, they executed a double steal for the tying run.
Sandy Van Blarkum's at third. There he goes. He's still in. Comes Sandy to the play. He scored! He scored! He scored! Double steal! Double steal! It's a big steal! Sandy Van Blarkum at 6-6.
At the top of the 9th, with bases loaded, relief pitcher Bob Oakley allowed no runs.
Tied up at 6-6 with the Tecumseh Green Giants. There's Ian Moser. Here's the pitch.
The Wildcats pulled ahead, beating Ontario 7-6 in front of 4,500 hometown fans.
They win!
The team was loaded with homegrown talent, with 13 Kentville-born boys on the roster. Among them, Ian Moser was named MVP of the championship game. Kevin McLeod, Sandy Van Blarkum, and George McLean all made the Nationals All-Star team. But perhaps the greatest honor was the title of Tournament MVP, which went to the team collectively, showing that all it takes is a little teamwork to hit it out of the park. And tonight, we induct them into the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame.
Folks, before we present the plaque and the pins, in alphabetical order, here are the guys that made up the team in 85, most of which are here tonight. Chet Boudreau, Hugh Fraser, Kevin Forbes, Dave Harris, George McLean, Kevin McLeod, Robbie Mann, Ian Moser, Monty Moser, Bob Oakley, Danny Payne, Kevin Poirier, Brian Van Blarkum, Kirk Van Blarkum, Sandy Van Blarkum, Bill Young, Mark Swicker, playing coach Peter Goucher, Jim McCachran, Eddie Gillis coach, and Sean Mounts and Jeff Rafuse, who were not on the national tournament roster, but were members of the squad. How about a hand for these fellas, huh? And just in keeping with the tradition, what we'll do to save time here, we'll get a plaque and a pin to the coach, and then the rest of the guys at the end of the night, they'll be in alphabetical order for you, okay? So, presenting the plaque from the presenting sponsor tonight, the Chronicle Herald, the associate publisher, Ian Thompson. Mr. Thompson will present it to head coach Pete Goucher. And 2 Hall of Fame members, both outstanding baseball and hockey players in the 40s and 50s, to present the pins, Skit Ferguson and Bill Hannon. Guys, come forward. Pin coming from each side, Coach. Photo, guys. All right. Thanks, guys. First of all, Coach, we missed a couple, right? Let's get that cleared up right away here.
Two other coaches for our team that year were Bruce Ross and John McDonald. Both here.
So we'll talk here for a second, bring a couple of players out in a bit as well, but here you are. It's 6-zip with 2 outs in the 8th.
2 outs in the 8th inning, but we had a couple of runners on at that stage. So there was hope.
There was hope, yeah, but and that was the question. How much hope was there? That's a big hole late in the game.
Well, I know, but to be honest with you, we had seen sort of a tide change in about the 6th and 7th inning because their pitcher dominated us for the first 3 or 4 innings, but in innings 6 and 7, we started to really make better contact and have better at-bats. So I thought for sure that if we continued to have those kind of quality at-bats, that maybe we would get some breaks for a change. And all of a sudden, we got a bunch.
And you made some, too. You want to talk about aggressive. A double steal involving a steal of home with 2 outs in the 8th is a gutsy call. What went into your making of that call?
Well, it was an absolutely perfect scenario, to be honest with you, to do that. First of all, we had 5 straight hits leading into that. And what are the chances of number 6?
Right.
We also had 2 of the best base runners in the league at first and third. That'd be Billy Young on first base and Sandy Van Blarkham on third. And not only are they quick and good base runners, they're baseball people, and they know how to execute and what to keep in mind in that particular play. And it was also a really cool, misty night, so Ontario would have to make 2 good throws in order to get that player out at home plate. So there really wasn't much of a decision to be made and wasn't much talking about it. This is what we're going to do. And couldn't have worked better.
No, you can see that on the video. Sandy, come on over for a second here. You're the guy that was on third, right? And this guy gave you a sign to steal home in front of 4,500 people in the championship game. Okay, so, all right. So take me into your brain as this was being discussed, what you were thinking.
Well, first of all, if you know Peter, discussion might be the wrong word, okay? He tells you what to do, and you go do it the best you can.
Okay.
But as we had couple extra minutes because they were changing pitchers at that point. So we did talk about it, and Peter walked away, yep, get a real good jump, but don't get caught, picked off. Yeah, right, okay. But anyway, we made it very simple. I told Rico, who was coaching behind me at third, if it goes over the pitcher's head, I'm going home. And once it went over his head, it was just run and hope.
Well, yeah, and you made it by a pretty healthy margin, didn't you?
Yeah, I could run that.
Right. Clearly. So when basically then when you got the call, you weren't scared. You just said, just go execute this thing.
You just had to tell yourself, don't go too soon. Because if they threw it directly back to pitcher, you're dead. You didn't even get a swing or a chance to tie the game.
Right. Where's Ian Mosier? Ian? Yeah, come on over here. Here's the league MVP that year. You're the guy that come up in the, was it bottom of the 9th?
Oh, I came up every inning at the end.
Okay, all right, let's not get cocky. Give me the situation in terms of runners on and number of outs when you were up there trying to do, I guess, get a fly ball to the outfield, right?
Yeah, well, the first time I started that whole thing, I drove in a couple to get that chaos started, but all the people were driving home, they were leaving, they felt it was over. That started all the chaos in the parking lot, the people starting to come back in, and car accidents and crashes and all that stuff. Anyway, so we drove in some runs to start, and then I came back at the end, and sure enough, it was because all that just tied it. All that mess that you just talked about just tied the game. We had to win it, so that's where I got involved.
Okay. Yeah, didn't mean to downplay your role at all. So there you are. Okay, so you're up. The original question was, before you went off on your tangent there, how many runners were on and how many outs were there?
It didn't matter.
Okay,
There was a runner on third base.
Okay, so you
I was up.
right, and did you just say to yourself, hit a ball to the outfield? Was that your mental set, or?
Well, strangely enough, you should ask that because I've told that before. I stepped out of the batter's box, called timeout, and said, no matter what happens here, I've earned the right to fail. And if you look at that video, I'm out there all by myself, and I said, I've worked so hard for this moment, it's okay if I fail here. And I hit the ball to left field, and the runner scored, and we win.
And so that got your mind and body, I would assume, totally relaxed for the moment.
It was in the moment. Yep, absolutely.
Was this the, I have read, and I believe this to be true, the first Nova Scotia team ever to win this national senior baseball championship?
Oh, sure was. Yep, absolutely.
Well, listen, here we are. How many years later? 28. 28. The guys look good. There's tremendous pride. I'm going to ask the coach one more. Do you mind if I ask him one more question? No, okay. Just a sense of what it's like to be back together. So many of you are here, and there's obviously such a great feeling in the room.
Well, as you can probably tell by the lack of hair, that I'm the elder statesman here. And I've watched these kids grow up and watched their baseball development. And I was lucky enough to be standing at second base when that all happened in the ninth inning. And when I saw what was going on and knew that the tying or the winning run was either going to be safe or out, there wasn't much I could do but just watch. And when I saw that we had won, I just stood there for a while and said, you know, these kids have worked so hard, and I'm so proud of them.
You know what? They, you knew them for a while, right? They came together, I guess, 4 or 5 years before that to not much success and kind of grew into men into a team, right?
Well, you're off a little bit.
Sure.
In that 4 years prior to that, we had gone to the national championship, gotten to the final, and we're as close as you can get to winning because the team that we played had to beat us twice in one day, and they did. So we won the silver medal in '81, and we got a few additional players, and the young guys got better. And in 1985, everything was lined up for us to do just exactly what we did.
And the cool thing is, so many local guys, right?
Exactly. Baseball's a big deal in Kentville, and has been for a lot of years. And the whole town was there and offering the support, and it was a thrill of a lifetime.
Let's leave it right there. What a great exclamation point for the Kentville Wildcats, 1985. Thank you, guys.